We'll give you a minute, Mel, to get wired there. Okay. Yes, Mel, you're going to present some reports on Sundays at the station. Please go ahead. Councillor, pleased to have you here. And Richard?
Thank you very much. Excuse me. Yes, we as a committee sort of thought it was about time to present to the council a status report on the summer concerts events that are called Sundays at the Station. Now, they've been going on for over 25 years, and I'm not sure it's been that long. And I'm not sure that this has ever happened, although the municipality has been supporting it in many, many ways. So that's what I'd like to do, give a quick status report, and also look for feedback as to where do we go from here. Okay? So just to fill everyone in, this was a community-initiated event where somebody, after Rotary Club had moved the station and upgraded it, etc., somebody realized there's a beautiful stage there on the deck for summer concerts, outdoor concerts. So it was started, and at the beginning, obviously, small, low-key. There was anywhere from 30 to 60 members on any Sunday evening, and but from there, it has expanded quite a bit. We had an Irish folk group called Greta's Boys that play there a number of times. So I have some familiarity with it, and I can remember playing to 50, 60 people, and it was a pass-the-hat affair, and whatever was collected was given to the entertainment. And back then, it was less than 100, mostly all coins. Okay. We've expanded from that, although it's still a free will offering, except instead of passing a hat, now we pass a coffee can. So we've upgraded, more high tech. But in the last summer, we had, it was supposed to be 11 concerts, but at the last concert, we got rained out very unexpectedly, because we normally monitor what the weather conditions are like, and we have a backup. We can go inside into the Legion if there's any sign of rain. Well, I got up on stage at 2 minutes to 7, and it started to drizzle, and it never stopped. So we had to cancel that one after about 20 minutes. So there was 10 concerts. Total attendance for the whole summer was about 100 or 1,200 people, ranging anywhere from 75 to 160 people, more or less, plus or minus 5 or 10, because again, how accurate is a head count? And we've also collected a total of just under $6,000, anywhere from $320 to $700 a night. Okay, so it has grown quite tremendously from about 50, 60 people to roughly 120 people each Sunday. And for the longest time, almost 20 years, it was actually run by Al Schneichenberger, a local citizen. And I got involved. I was asked to help out because there was a little bit of issue, and Al was about ready to shut everything down. So that's how I got involved, and then we switched to a committee of 3. Now we have myself, John David McTavish, and Richard Crum. John David couldn't be here, unfortunately, because he had a bit of a virus stroke last night, so he's recovering from that. And we basically look after getting the talent, excuse me, being there every Sunday to help coordinate and get everything up and running, et cetera, and open the station. Okay? The municipality has helped by giving us the station free of charge, and over the past years there have been minor donations as well. At first $300, and now it's $1,000 a summer to cover incidentals. Okay, and that's been one of the changes. It has been free will offering, but after COVID, bands are becoming wanting more of a fixed fee. They don't want to take the risk. You can't say I blame them. So last summer, for instance, we had 5 bands that wanted a fixed fee for a total cost of $3,950. Okay, which for us is a bit of a problem because that there's no guarantee we're going to raise that fee for each band. So that's why the $1,000 buffer has helped us tremendously. And that's worked out quite well. And some of these bands, normally we're looking at about anywhere from $500 to $750 a band. We had one big one last summer for $1,500, and that was during the Tartan Day weekend. We wanted to make a bit of a big splash, and that was shared, the cost was shared with the CCC committee as part of the Tartan Days organization. Okay, and that went quite well. What changes have occurred? Well, we've had to broaden our area to attract bands. So we go anywhere from Chatham, London, West Elgin, Strathroy area. The furthest we've had was Crystal Gauge from Essex, but not close enough. Okay, and where was I? And also the municipality has graciously increased their support to $1,000. We've been doing very good. We've been keeping our own. We actually have accumulated some monies in the account now. I think it's that we're up to 2,000 or over. Future direction. Okay. Do we expand? And what do I mean is, well, first of all, one of the things we are trying to do is attract a much broader range of audience. In the past, it has been seniors like us, okay? Very nice to see over the past couple of summers, younger families showing up, kids and all. So we're trying to get some entertainment directed more towards that middle age, if you like, bands that they would like to hear. But of course, that also means I'm sure there'll be a cost associated with that. Do we expand our drawing area? Do we advertise a lot more and going into Strathroy, West Elgin region, Bothwell region, Elliston, Watford region, that kind of stuff? In the past, what we've been doing is basically having the staff here print out a whole bunch of colored posters for us, and we go around and to these, well, most of those communities, West Elgin, Wardsville, Melbourne, Elliston, etc., and putting up these posters. Okay. Also, the staff have been very good about putting it on Facebook. The website has been a bit of an issue. They have put it on there, but it's very hard to find. And that's one of the things that we are hoping to pass on is there a way that we can use the website to have these events more prominent? For instance, we are obviously not the only community that does that. Dresden has a big one, 200 to 300 attendees in what's called Talbot Trails Park, right in town. Okay, Dresden also has the same thing, a little smaller, but larger than us. And if you go on the web, summer concerts in Blenheim, up pops a page with all the information you need, quite well presented. Go to Glencoe, and actually you do get a page, but it's from 2021, and very little information on it. Okay, so I don't know if anything can be done to the website, so maybe under events, it's pretty prominent there as to what's happening, the list of artists, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing is obviously newspapers. And we have looked at that, and radio. My FM out of Strathroy actually did approach me at one time about making announcements on a weekly basis, okay, and how much that would cost, et cetera, et cetera. So these are some of the things that we can consider if the wish is to try and expand and draw more people in from outside of the area. What else? Sponsorships. These other two community concerts that I mentioned, it's actually no cost to the people who attend. And they can do that because they have some very serious business sponsors that pay for all the costs of the entertainment. And you're talking in the order of $1,500 to over $2,000 for each show. Quite expensive. We have been lucky. We've actually had a citizen from the community donate $2,000 this past summer. which was quite a surprise. He did approach me, are you guys interested? Oh yeah, we're interested. So then he came to the municipal office and donated $2,000, for which we're very thankful. So that's what I mean is our purse right now is much healthier than it's ever been. So do we go and expand and try to draw more people in? Because obviously it has a major benefit to the community. Each band that outside of the community that comes, you bring anywhere from 10 to 20 or more people with them. And I've had chats with them, and these people walk around town, have a look at the community, et cetera, and definitely helps to promote Southwest Middlesex. And to end it up, basically, I just want to thank the municipality and the staff for all the support they've given us in the past. I think this event has matured quite nicely, and obviously we would like to see it to continue for quite some time in the future. Just do we keep it as status quo, or do we try to expand it? And that's my presentation.
Mel, thank you very much for that. And Richard, anything to add, or did Mel cover it all? Okay, that's good. Listen, I don't want to leave.
He's just too shy.
I don't want to leave anybody out. But Richard, Mel, I know you're both from musical backgrounds, and John David McTavish as well. The three of you have participated in the entertainment industry for years, and we know that this is not just a one-day-a-week job. It involves a lot. I think I know you graciously thanked the Council of Southwest Middlesex for what they've done, but I think really we should be thanking you three for the services that you provide, and we're quite indebted for that. Are there any questions from councillors they wish to ask? Well, Mel, I made some notes. I'll talk with Amanda. We'll try to make some website improvements and see what happens there.
Okay.
There is an open door policy here. Staff will be very happy to speak with you at any time. If you have any concerns, don't hesitate to reach out, or to councillor or the mayor. We certainly will convey your messages quite promptly. And we do appreciate that report. We know the benefit that it provides, and we know some of the organizations in town, Quad County and things like that, really enjoy this entertainment, and it's almost an outreach to that facility that you're providing, and I think they're very numerous. I think all their candidates attend your shows. But it's really enjoyed by all. Last call for questions. Failing which, we'll receive a motion to receive the report for information. Councillor Vink, Councillor Emery, all in favor? Carried. Thanks, Mel, and we'll work on that website. Council, the consent agenda is before us. I'll go down these 8 items. If you wish to pull any out to discuss, gladly do it. If they're complex, we'll move it to new business. Draft regular minutes of council, November 19th. Draft minutes, November 20th. Middlesex County highlights. Watson and Associates, summary of proposed water and wastewater public corporations. Yes, go ahead, Councillor Haggett. Okay. 5.5 coming up, Town of Kingston resolution regarding opposition to proposed consolidation of conservation authorities. They certainly have taken a big bite out of it. Martin and Mark certainly would be interested in that, and Don. Oh, he's on the board now. Don, yeah. Any discussion that can be forwarded in respect to that? If not, Councillor Haggett has moved the endorsement of that. Is there a seconder? Councillor McCollum, all in favor? Carried unanimously. 5-6, Municipality of Calvin, resolution regarding strengthening self-defense protections and addressing rising home invasions in Ontario. It is a problem, particularly this. Yeah, and you want to endorse that, so you'll move the endorsement of that? Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Myers, discussion, council.
Sorry. I just think it's a good thing, and I think people should be able to protect their own, right? So I think there needs to be a change.
Okay,
That's my opinion.
sounds good. It's been moved, it's been seconded. Last call for discussion. All in favor? Carried unanimously. 5-7. Melissa Kittmer, Assistant Deputy Minister, Strategic Policy Division, Minister of the Solicitor General, update to Ontario's regulations, oath and affirmations. And the last, Honorable Rob Flack, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Houses, changes to the Planning Act to protect Ontario by Building Faster and Smarter Act. Okay, can the chair have a mover and a seconder that the consent agenda be accepted as presented with the motions of 5-6 and 5-7 being adopted? Is there a mover and a seconder? Councillor McCollum, Councillor Haggett, all in favor? Carried. Oh, was it 5-5? 5-5 and 5-6, okay. Good, we'll get that. Colleen? Yep, you bet.
5-5 is concerned Lower Thames had a special meeting to discuss the new situation of being lowered to 7 conservation authorities. And so there'll be further reviews in the future.
No, I realize that. They didn't use a pair of scissors when they cut it. I think they used a chainsaw. Yeah, and you know, some of those areas are huge, like they get right up until the Bruce Peninsula and all that. With areas in the south, it's ridiculous how large those areas are. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for bringing those out. Thank you, Councillor Haggett. Committee of Adjustment. Recommendation is that we go into Committee of Adjustment at, the time is 1:49 p.m. Is there a mover? Councillor Myers, seconder. Councillor Vink, all in favor? Carried. We'll call the Committee of Adjustment together at 1:49. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest among any councillors? Seeing none. The minutes have been circulated. Any errors or omissions? Is there the chair requires a motion to accept the minutes as circulated. Is there a mover? Councillor McGill. Seconder for that. Councillor Haggett. All in favor? Carried. Committee of Adjustment, minor variance A8, submitted by Joseph and Crystal Kulash, 3220 Longwoods Road. If I mispronounced that surname, I apologize. Our planner will introduce the application to council, and please go ahead.
Thank you very much. So I do apologize. I'm not able to be there in person today, but hopefully this is everyone can hear me clearly, and I can do my best from this position. So the application before committee this evening, afternoon, I'm so used to being in the evening, is 3220 Longwoods Road. The applicants are seeking relief from the setback provisions of the zoning bylaw to permit the construction of a new horse barn on their property. It's intended to house 2 horses and would have a floor area of approximately 120 square meters. To accommodate the barn and its intended location, the applicants request a reduced setback of 12.8 meters from the center line of Old Airport Road, whereas the bylaw requires a minimum setback of 28 meters. The application also seeks relief from 2 minimum distance separation, or MDS, setback requirements, and that is the setback to the nearest lot line and the nearest road allowance, both proposed at 1 meter, despite requiring setbacks of 8 meters and 17 meters respectively. According to the applicants, the concrete pad for the barn has already been poured, and relocating it would result in significant costs. The applicants therefore submitted a minor variance application to recognize the reduced setbacks. However, the committee did refuse the original request at the October 15th meeting of council. The applicants have since resubmitted a new minor variance application proposing the same setbacks. So my analysis was based on the 4 tests of minor variance as provided in Section 45 of the Planning Act. In considering whether or not the variances can be considered minor in nature, locating the barn only 1 meter from the lot line and road allowance does not provide sufficient separation from Old Airport Road. The proximity is expected to interfere with snow clearing, drainage, ditching, and other maintenance activities, and may limit the municipality's ability to undertake future road widening. And with respect to MDS2, while the reduced setbacks would not increase odor impacts on neighboring dwellings, the guidelines emphasize the reduction should be considered in limited site-specific circumstances and must still demonstrate that odor conflicts and land use compatibility concerns are being mitigated. The reduction from 8 meters and 17 meters to 1 meter represents a significant departure from these established standards. Considering whether or not it is an appropriate use of the land, from a practical standpoint, I do not expect the reduced MDS2 setback to create the conflict with the neighboring dwelling, as previously stated. However, the proposed location does not satisfy the intent of the local road setback requirement, which is to ensure adequate separation from the traveled roadway. Given the ability of alternate siting locations on the property and the potential negative impacts on the road corridor, staff do not consider the proposed location to be desirable or appropriate. I also, for the same reasons, do not believe that the requested variances meet the intent of the official plan or the zoning bylaw. Comments received from the manager of public works. The requested reductions from required setbacks would place the barn in very close proximity to Old Airport Road and the easterly lot line. The proposed 1 meter setback does not provide adequate separation from the traveled roadway or road allowance and may compromise road safety, future road widening, and maintenance operation. A setback this close to the traveled roadway raises concerns for road safety, future maintenance, and potential road widening needs. A building located within 1 meter of the road allowance also creates a risk of conflict with municipal operations for snow plowing, ditching, road drainage, etc. Any future road work may undermine the barn's foundation or compromise the structural integrity of the building due to the proximity of the road allowance. And this location effectively places the structure near the road corridor and leaves no space for future road widening, drainage works, or infrastructure upgrades if required in the future. As the circulation of this new application, we did not receive any public comments. So given that my analysis is that it does not meet the 4 tests of minor variance, my recommendation this evening is refusal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The applicant is allowed now the opportunity to speak. Joseph, Crystal, go ahead. Yeah, you bet. Staff will make sure you're comfortable there, Joseph, and they'll make sure you're wired up, okay? Yeah, and Crystal, just state your name for the record, and
my name is Crystal Prulaga.
okay.
Hello, and I'm Joseph Prulaga.
Crystal, you go ahead, or Joseph, enlighten council to the
I'll
best
talk,
of your
I guess.
ability.
Thank you again for having us here again, talking about the same topic. Basically, the reason why we're here is because I think there was a miscommunication last time, and since then we've had some councillors come in and take a look at the location, just to confirm that yes, it doesn't meet the guidelines, and that's why we're here. But given that the fact is the road is barely used, it's only serviced until our first driveway, which is just a little bit beyond where the barn is. We would like you guys to consider the fact that we can keep it where it is. We also recognize that there is a concern about the fence that's further down the road, which is an area that's not serviced by you guys. It's not maintained. If that is a contentious issue, we are more than willing to move that fence. further away from the road, if that's an issue. We know that we're supposed to write a letter for today. We were told that yesterday, so we didn't have time to put that together properly. We can have that together by the end of the week, if that helps. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, the letter is in regards to when we had to resubmit a new application. Essentially, we had to repay the initial $1,000 fee. So we were just saying, basically because, we believe that the first time around things weren't fully reviewed properly and there was some misunderstandings that because we're back here again for the same reason, we're hoping that we could have that refunded. So that's what the letter was about. And then in terms of Joe addressed the roadway, the fact that the fence is a certain amount back. I had been speaking with some members from council as well as the Simpsons. I spoke to Owen about what their widest tractor is to make sure that we're not impeding them in any which way. And their widest tractor is 20 feet wide. And so we took our responsibility for half from the center line of the nearest road, Longwoods, half of that, which is 10 feet, and our fence is a substantial amount beyond that, so it's another 4 or 5 feet beyond what they would require in order to get by with all of their tractors. So there is more than sufficient room for them to get by to do as needed. Yes, our fence is on municipal land, which we did not realize when it was first put in. We were misinformed about where our lot line is. However, on the other side, it's equally done in terms of harvesting. So basically, the Simpsons are harvesting on part of municipal land as well, which is why they're moving closer to our side to get by. So that's why we've made mention that we have taken responsibility from the center line, our portion of that to allow for the tractor to properly get by.
Okay. Anything else?
I think we stated our case.
Okay, no problem. You'll have another opportunity to speak and remain there. That's great, as long as you're comfortable. I can appreciate the anxiety that this has caused, big time. And it is unfortunate, that a planning process didn't go through in the first place, because I'm sure our staff could have come up with a solution that would have made everybody happy. And it's always a real surprise when a development like that happens, and our planning doesn't know about it, and our building services don't know about it. It's just not according to plan, I guess, so to speak. But it's certainly your privilege to bring it back to for council's consideration, and we will respect that. Committee members' remarks, are there any? Yes, go ahead, Mark.
I don't like to speak on behalf of anybody else, but I did talk to a couple of the Simpsons just this morning, and their letter that they submitted with the application opposing this still stands. And, well, basically, if you read through the application, it looks like what happened is the applicants built a building without getting a building permit, and then after the fact came back and asked for a minor variance. And I kind of sympathize with them, and yet I think we'd be setting a bad precedent if we approved this. And they could still use that concrete pad, but it would be kind of as an approach to the building, and just put the building back a little farther. Like if they'd originally got a building permit, I'm sure the staff would have told them, this is what the rules say. You've got 25 acres there. Just put it back far enough from the road. You don't need to get a minor variance or anything. They would have had a building permit within probably 5 days, and the building would be all done by now. But when I first saw this, I thought it must be a misprint or a typo or something, that this had come back, because we decided on this back in October.
October 15th, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, any other questions from council? Yes, Councillor Vink.
Yes, I noticed that, Chris, you shook your head there as far as the building permit. Can you verify, did you get a building permit for this?
So the building permit was in process, so essentially what had happened is I did call the building before concrete or anything was started, and I was given the wrong information about what was necessary in terms of setbacks and permitting for the concrete and whatnot. And so unfortunately it was started, and then midway through starting, unfortunately you can't really half stop once it's been poured. So basically then we got different information from Wayne, which then led to why we're doing the minor variance and et cetera. So in terms of building the barn was not built prior to asking for the minor variance. The barn is actually not even fully built today. All that's there is the concrete pad, which we didn't know ahead of time because we had misinformation. Portion of the prefabricated barn is there, and that is there because we had to have it delivered because it was already started, and we had gotten permission from planning from Arnie to have the building located partially off so that it's not considered usable until we had the minor variance go through. However, with the last meeting, having that barn partially off the pad and onto closer to the road, just because of positioning and ability to roll it back onto the pad afterwards, it caused a lot of confusion because it made it look like the barn was actually 24 feet closer to the road than it actually will be and is currently. So that caused a lot of confusion before, and that's one of the reasons I believe Mike wanted to ask for a delay in going to review where the barn was. So now we've gotten permission from Arnie to move it fully onto the pad so that there's no confusion for this current meeting. And it's only partially built. It's basically just 2 shell boxes, and there's no roof, no insides, no anything. All the wood is set off to the side for building should and when we're ready to build. So the building has not been built. And then in terms of the Simpsons, I did speak with Owen and Vicky, and the pad and where the barn is not impeding or in the way of them at all, because with their tractors, there's a ditch there. So number one, with regards to snow plowing, it doesn't affect it in any which way because the snow plow doesn't go anywhere near the barn. And in terms of the tractors and everything going by, the tractors themselves would hit the trees that are in the front of our lot before they would even touch the barn, because the 50, 60, 100-year-old trees that are in the front of our house are in the way more than our barn would ever be, because the barn is actually set back several feet from where the trees are. So there is no way in which the barn would impede them. The only thing that, like we mentioned before, might have had concern was the paddock that was at the further back on the property off of managed land, basically, and that we have accounted for and spoken to Owen in terms of, or and Vicky, sorry, in terms of the tractor width, and we're on side with that.
Okay, yeah, follow up, Martin, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, yep. You mentioned Crystal and Joseph that you received some bad information about setbacks. So that begs the question, who gave you that information then?
Yes, I think before we name names or anything like that, I'm going to hand that question over to Amanda to just prevent any issue of disclosure.
Thank you. So following the last Committee of Adjustment hearing, Crystal and I did have quite a long conversation about her customer service experience, and she did relay what she just shared with the committee, that she had called our building department to obtain some information and was told she wasn't required to have a building permit. So I did take it upon myself to contact our building team to inquire whether, that inquiry was made and if there was any memory of that guidance. And unfortunately, there was not from our building team. So I tried to follow it up, but I cannot verify who she spoke to, what questions were asked, whether they were fulsome questions about installing a shed versus a barn, a concrete pad, all those kinds of things. So certainly I did follow it up with our team, but I cannot verify.
Yeah, one more question, Martin. We'll pass it along after that.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Allen. I just wondered, at the last meeting, Crystal and Joseph, I mentioned that I would be interested in a compromise. And so we have to look at other properties in the future. When you only have 1 meter per MDS, that's going to affect other livestock farms too. If we give you a minor variance up to 1 meter, the next person comes along and says, I'd like to have the same thing. And I mentioned in the last meeting why we couldn't come up with a compromise. And Councilor McGill mentioned you can use part of that pad as a place to park your truck to unload the horse. And I'm still willing to compromise, even, let's say 3 or 4 meters. At least we've, you compromise and we compromise. And I think that's where we should be going.
Okay, just a point of order. I want to advise planning. I know they're on Zoom, and if you need to speak to any issue, don't hesitate to interrupt the chair and advise me of the privilege to speak. Planning. Okay. Yes. Go ahead, Crystal.
Just to answer back to our conversation with Amanda. So yes, obviously there's nobody's going to chalk up and say that they made an error, but essentially we did have that conversation, and I know there's no record of it or anything like that. But then preceding that, there was also errors from the planning team in terms of the paperwork that was provided to you last time. It was incorrect. It did get corrected, and it was mentioned verbally, but I don't think that it was fully reviewed, because what you were looking at on paper is what everybody remembers. So there was errors there, and then again, we were basically all along, there was about 4 or 5 different little errors which all contributed to this information, which is why I believe we got the no to begin with, the refusal. Amanda and I had spoken to that, and even after we had spoken, there was an additional error on top of that, and I don't mean to point out, but in terms of 10 feet versus 14 feet for certain allowances. And I was given, again, a slightly different error. And I don't mean to criticize, it's just when we're talking about doing things, it's very frustrating when I'm getting wrong information all the time, and then I'm the one looking bad because I'm trying to follow what's, being laid out improperly for me. And we're not trying to, discourage her anyways. But in terms of compromise, we are willing to compromise, and we had spoken to several council members in terms of the compromise, and when they had come to view where the pad was, they were in belief that there was no need to move it because it did not impede anything. Everything that's there in terms of growth and etc. I mean, the Simpsons land has been farmed for a long time, like hundreds of years. Like, it's the likelihood of that changing anytime in the near future is not going to happen. And then the same thing on our side. Like, if you look at the road, as we mentioned in the last meeting, if you go 1 street over from Longwoods, there's a road that crosses the river. And then if you wanted to eventually turn Longwoods into a road that crosses the river, you're crossing into somebody's croplands. So there really isn't a need for potential future expanding in this road. And certain other council members have even mentioned the potential of selling off the road to partially Simpsons or partially to us, that because it's not really used and barely maintained. Once you get past our driveway, there's no gravel. It's all grass and dirt, and it's not used at all. And so I understand the need for planning and allowing for all these allowances, and I 100% understand the guidelines. The issue is that it's a unique situation, and I'm not trying to set a precedent for any other planning, but if they had the exact situation where it's a road that's really only traveled by ourselves, by the Simpsons with their tractors, and with Anissa maybe once or twice a year, she's the neighbor to the other side, that might go to the property in the back, it's not used by anybody. Even when it came to plowing, and we're talking about snow plowing, I had literally had to go through with my tractor plow 4 times when we had that big snow dump. 4 times over a period of a day and a half to 2 days before the plow even came once. And if I hadn't plowed that, we would have had, it was 30 centimeters of snow and we wouldn't have been able to get out. So we're willing to take on that responsibility to take care of the road, and that would have been a bigger danger to anybody coming to travel the road than my barn that's set back however distant. So I just hope that you can kind of look at it from other perspectives as well. It's not that we're not willing to compromise, we just don't
Yeah.
feel there's a need for it.
Word compromise, though, has to be in a discussion with you and our planning department. It's not with council, okay? They'll bring a recommendation back, but the compromising, yes, council will compromise with new information and have an understanding for it. Martin, thank you for those questions. I want to pass the opportunity along to other councillors if there's any. Yes, Councillor Haggett.
So my understanding was you didn't get your permit, and you should have got a permit. So now you have a permit now, and you've had to pay twice, right?
We don't have a permit now, so what happens is that you apply for the permit and the permit's kind of on hold until the variance goes through. So the variance has to be finished. So we have had the application open for a permit since back in July, and so it's basically on hold, because then basically once you make your decision, I have to go back to the permitting department, and then what they do is they approve and say you're A-okay to go through. So really, it's just pending on the minor variance, but the permit was started a long time ago.
Okay. And one follow-up, Judy.
So my thing is, I've been here a long time, and I know who lives out there, and there's only 3 families involved with that road. And it's not a through road. Maybe back in the day the kids would go fishing or something, but there's only 3 families that got to get along with that road. From what I can see, there's no problem with the barn. I have no problem where it's sitting. I don't think I would refund the money. I think when I drive around southwest Middlesex, there is a lot of people impeding on this southwest Middlesex property. And so I have no problem where the barn is. I think it's just fine. So I think that 3 families got to get along. So my opinion is I have no problem with the barn. That's what I'm going to say. The fence is a different issue. That could be.
Well, one family has been put on record as not approving of it, okay? So we have that. We have to deal with that, too. We can't ignore. You said those 3 people have to get along. Well, there's one particular family that is objecting to this location of this barn, okay? And we have documentation of that, and we have to...
The family has an issue more so with the fence. They don't have an issue with the barn. I know that they haven't retracted their statement, but they have told us that they have no issue with where the concrete pad was. They were just misunderstood from last time as to where the barn was because it was 24 feet closer. Now that it's the 24 feet back, they don't have an issue with the concrete pad. What they don't like is the fence because it's impeding. They say it's impeding with their tractors, but as I've mentioned, with the tractor of 20 feet and etc., it's not impeding, and if it is, it's because they're growing on municipal land, which is forcing them more over to our side.
Yep. I spoke to Mrs. Simpson today, and she has not changed her view from that letter. Mike, could you take the gavel for me just for a second? Thanks very much. Just a couple of questions, concerns that I had. One, this council have been real advocates of supporting minor variances in the past. We have, even when our planning department did. I think we've always been like that because we like to see the development, and we know that sometimes minor variances are important considerations that we have to take, and we have supported many. In this one, the word minor kind of concerns me because we're looking at setbacks that are required of 8 feet and 8 meters and 17 meters, and we've got 1 meter. So, when you do the math, that's hardly minor. We're looking at 75%, 80% out of the norm. So that concerns me a little bit. In terms of building permits not being required or being required, legislation has recently changed on sheds and small barns. I think that you can put up a 10 by 16 barn without a building permit today, 160 feet. How many square feet is this barn going to be? Approximately?
It's 36 feet by 36 feet, which is... I have to do
36
math.
by 36.
Yeah, because
Yeah. Yeah. It
It's
needs, it
significant.
certainly needs a building permit. There's
a
no
10 by
question.
60 is very small. You can fit maybe 1.5 horses in there. It's not plausible for 2 stalls along with, feed and everything else you need to store to, the size barn we have is almost as small as you can get for what we're trying to take care of, essentially. We're not trying to ask for a large barn. It's very small. And, in terms of, the setbacks, I mean, I know it sounds like a lot, like that we're super close, but if you've actually gone and taken a look at our property
Yes, I have.
and seen exactly where the barn is, it's not very close. There's a significant amount of space to get by. I mean, there's a ditch in the way, so nobody's going to be going over that ditch in the way anyhow. The snow, if they snow plow it by, it's just going to go over into the ditch. Unless you're planning on building, there's really...
Okay, I'm going to let the rest of council have the questions. We've almost gone over our deadline on miscommunication. Mark, no problem? Yeah. Marjorie, yep, go ahead, Councilor.
I had the opportunity to speak to Vicki Simpson this morning, and she does not want to cause animosity amongst her neighbors, but she does ask that we be considered and follow the rules that we have and the policies that we have with this position.
And Councilor McGill, did you have your hand up? No?
Yeah, just one more thing, we've been told, and I don't like to speak on behalf of other people, but it bothers me that we're being told the Simpsons are okay with this when I talk to them myself, and they're not, and their letter says they're not. And then that makes me think probably what we're being told about what the staff said to the applicants, probably that's not right either. So that all kind of bothers me, so I'm just going to vote on this the same way I did the first time.
I apologize, but we're not lying. I am not a liar by any standards, and you have spoken with the Simpsons, but you haven't reached out to us to see our side and come take a look at our property either. And in terms of them, it could also be the other side way around. I am not one to say negative things about anybody, but we also had the same opinion that the Simpsons came, spoke with us, all 3 of them. We set out a specific meeting time for them to come.
Yeah, close it down as soon as you can,
Yep.
okay? Because you did not ask the chair for permission to speak. And
I apologize. I do
obey the
apologize.
rules.
It's just a frustrating
Yeah.
point to be
No,
called a liar.
I know it's
But the Simpsons are the ones that are giving the 2 different answers. And I'm not, I don't want to point too much out, but I spoke with all 3 of them. They came in. We had that conversation. I laid it out. Everything was all friendly. And then once we left that meeting to come to the meeting, not even 2 hours later,
I got to cut you off, okay, at this time. I want to make
It's
sure our
two-faced.
council have the questions. Anybody else? Yes, go ahead. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. We're just approving the building here today. This has nothing to do with the fencing.
If I may, through you, Mayor, to Deputy Mayor Schuldeis, I'll ask Aaron to correct me if I'm incorrect here, but I believe you're approving both a setback variance, so a setback for the barn from Old Airport Road from 28 meters to 12.8 meters, if this was approved, and then MDS setbacks as well would be approved. They're required to have 8 meters, and they have 1 now, or 17 meters, and they have 1 meter now. So, Aaron, may I ask you just to confirm if that's correct or clarify for Deputy Mayor Schuldeis' question?
Thank you, Aaron, if you'd respond to that.
Absolutely, to your chair. So you're absolutely correct. The 3 variances on the table are in regards to the setback of the barn. The fence is not part of the application.
Yep. Go ahead.
What mechanism is in place if the fence becomes an issue in the future?
Is the fence a boundary fence?
I believe so, yes.
That is a civil matter between two neighboring properties to address any concerns with property line fences.
So it doesn't relate to anything that we're deciding today?
It does not relate to anything that would be decided today.
Courts will do that.
Okay, I don't believe that that road's ever going to be widened. I don't believe that the building affects any farming. I think the fence beyond the house, as I've mentioned before, may become an issue in the future. But I will move that we approve this minor variance.
Okay. It's been a mover. Is there a seconder? Yep, discussion.
I'd like to ask for a recorded vote.
Okay.
Okay. Councillor Myers? Councillor Haggett? Councillor Fink? Deputy Mayor? Mayor?
No.
Councillor McCollum?
No.
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 Okay, that did not carry. That word compromise is a really important word there, so don't throw in the towel. I'm sure our staff will talk to you, and some compromise, I'm sure could be arranged. Yes. One more question, Crystal. Okay.
Short and sweet is we have spoken to councillors to see if that was okay. We would have put in a request to extend it, by 12 feet or whatever, but we were told that it should be okay where it is. So, I mean, obviously, it's not a guarantee.
Who told you?
I'm not going to name names. I don't
Okay.
want to get anybody
Yeah,
in trouble or
but
anything.
A person of authority?
Yes, on council. But all I'm asking is, we don't want to keep putting $1,000. Like, this is $20,000 for us to move the whole pad. We don't have that much money. I just want to know where we can put it without having to move the whole thing. Is it back 12 feet, back, like, what is everybody going to be satisfied with? Because as I mentioned, when I talk to the Simpsons, I get one answer. And apparently they're telling other people another answer. So what is that minimum?
Councillors do not make planning decisions, and neither do the Simpsons. We're bound by provincial statute, okay?
Understood,
that
but
we
you can
have to
also
ask. So
waiver.
if you've got questions, you've got to ask the right department. You've got to ask planning. And I think you made a reference to you had past experience in planning or something like that.
That's where his
on
work is
October
different.
15th, you mentioned that. And, this is, I said this would create tons of anxiety in your life, but I'll tell you, it's just the wrong approach was taken, and we're sworn by oath to uphold many of the statutes the province has. But anyway,
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time.
okay. Thanks, Mike. Okay. That motion came fairly fast. We didn't get through the process that was laid out on this Committee of Adjustment. No problem. Yeah, no, oral or written submissions. Aaron, any? Okay. And the applicants, they certainly had an opportunity to give their remarks. The committee's made their decisions. Motion to adjourn. Martin? Don? At 2:25 p.m. We will now go back to our main agenda. We're on number 7, public meeting, none. Staff reports, Chief Administrative Officer, regarding 811 refreshment vehicle agreement, renewal and term extension for the food truck. Amanda, could you walk us through this?
Thank you, through you, Mayor, to Council. As you recall, Council previously directed staff to negotiate updates with Rocky's Food Wagon for a 5-year renewal term for their existing refreshment vehicle at our train station parking lot. We have done so, and the key changes in the proposed contract include increased rent, municipal provision of portable washrooms, which is accounted for in the additional rent, so it's not a net expense to the municipality. Permanently buried electrical service at the contractor's expense, and formalized off-season storage arrangements. We have met with Mr. and Mrs. Tuntis about the proposed agreement, and they are satisfied with it as it sits before Council now. The proposed agreement does result in a net positive financial impact of approximately $1,400 per year for the municipality after washroom costs, and does also provide an additional amenity in the municipality.
Thank you very much. Council, any questions regarding the agreement struck with Rocky's Food Truck? Yeah, it certainly is a drawing card. It brings people from a substantial market area. The market area's reach is almost to the lake. It has a good pull. Yes, Deputy Mayor Schuldeis?
I'll move the recommendation.
Okay, yeah, it's lengthy, doesn't need to be read. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Haggett, last call for questions. All in favor, Council? Carried. And 812, finalization of Limerick landfill operation and the monitoring cost and the sharing agreement primarily with Newberry and Chatham. Kent?
Thank you, through you, Mayor, to Council. Throughout 2025, Southwest Middlesex has been working with Chatham, Kent, and Newberry to finalize a formal cost-sharing agreement for the closed Limerick landfill, covering long-term monitoring, sampling, reporting, and ECA compliance in perpetuity, so into the future. The new agreement would replace the 1992 agreement. It confirms the same proportional cost sharing based on that historical closure split, where Southwest pays 46% of cost, Chatham-Kent 43%, and Newberry 11%, and creates a formal committee, which would be chaired by Southwest Middlesex, that would meet regularly to review the operations and monitoring requirements of the now closed landfill. In addition, through this process, we were able to recoup some historical monitoring and reporting costs incurred by the municipality at Southwest Middlesex's sole expense between 2018 and 2025. So we have reconciled those costs based on these percentage splits, and both partner municipalities have received their invoices and are agreeable to paying them in full. So that's wonderful news. They've been great partners. All this agreement does is just ensure that moving forward, we maintain the same partnership on all ongoing costs associated with Limerick landfill monitoring and compliance, and that we have a mechanism through a staff committee to meet and discuss any requirements and ensure everyone's up to date on budget requirements.
Okay, that's good news. I know some of the senior members of council knew that there was a sharing agreement there, and we're pleased that we don't have to shoulder all the costs. Councillor Bing, question?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Allen. To amend, I recall one time the agreement stated that Newberry was supposed to pay 15%, and I think Chatham-Kent was a little higher than what this is right now, too. So can you elaborate how this process out?
Go ahead, Amanda. I'm sure that the agreement was pulled and reviewed by staff. But go ahead, Amanda.
Thank you, Mayor. It was. So we started with our previous agreement, and we carried through the percentage splits that were included in that agreement. So they have not changed. The difference you may recall, Councillor, is The parties to the 1992 agreement were different than the parties now. So, there's been amalgamation since 1992, as you know. So, some of the parties to the previous agreement included like the Township of Zone, Bothwell, Newbury, Glencoe, so the percentages might have looked different, but when we amalgamated the municipality, this is the net result. This has been reviewed by legal teams, both for ourselves at the county level, in carrying through that appropriate financial framework, as well as in Chatham-Kent and Newbury. All of our legal representatives have reviewed the carry forward of the financial formula and confirmed it to be the same.
Okay. Colleen, this has been moved and seconded, hasn't it? Okay, we need a mover and second. Okay. Yes, go ahead, Mark. Yeah.
Just through the mayor to our treasurer, will we be seeing a report soon on how much it actually closed, or how much it actually cost to close the landfill, and then how much our reserves were, and just where we stand to date? And also, I'm just glad to see in the report it says the closure costs between 2018 and 2025 are now being cost shared.
That's an important question, and we'll certainly give the floor to Danielle, not Danielle, Denise. Sorry, I get my D's.
The Ds are just awesome, Mayor Mayhew.
Yeah.
So through to you, Councillor McGill, if that's the wish of council staff, I certainly could bring back a report. It would be in the new year, and perhaps it is something that we talk about once budget's passed and we move on with the other priorities that are at hand with the capital budget and debt financing and reserve policy. But we'd be happy to bring that back if council so wishes.
Thank you, Denise. I think with the other municipalities kicking in, I think what we had budgeted, we're under budget on that, but those numbers would be very interesting to see. And thank you very much, and we look forward to that, Denise, at a later date. I know your plate's full right now with the budget. Mover and a seconder for the recommendation. Mark, Councillor McGill, Councillor McCollum. Last call for questions. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Amanda, thanks very much for your work on that. It deserves applause, really, because I know that was a tough file, and you did exceptionally well on that. So thank you for bringing closure to that. 8113, status of council resolutions. Some resolutions in the past have not been fulfilled, and you can talk to this recommendation to council.
Thank you, Mayor, through you to council. So you may recall when I joined Southwest Middlesex in 2024, we had a few instances where some decisions were made on policies that hadn't been updated. We found some gaps in some previous council directives that hadn't yet been fulfilled. Once that was discovered, our clerk's department went back and from the beginning of 2024, looked at all council resolutions and directives. They compiled a comprehensive report of everything that was approved at this table during that time. And as a senior leadership team, we reviewed all of those recommendations to ensure that they were all complete. So I am happy to say that now we are all caught up, dating back to January 1st of 2024, with the exclusion of a few in 2025 from the last couple meetings that are still outstanding. But everything else is caught up, so we shouldn't need to worry about that problem anymore. It did take substantial effort on behalf of the clerk's department and our senior leadership team, so I wanted to bring the effort to council's attention for your knowledge, awareness, and I guess comfort that kind of concern won't happen again.
Thank you very much. It's good management practice to review such things, and we won't fall off the wagon again there. Is there a mover and a seconder for this recommendation? Councillor Emery. Seconder, please, for that. Deputy Mayor Scholdice. Questions, council? Any questions yet? Deputy Mayor, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'm just wondering, is there any resolutions that will be coming back to council in the future, or is there anything that we should be made aware of through this?
A great question through you, Mayor, to council. When there are, so in our process that we've put in place, we review the outstanding resolutions at our SLT meetings quite regularly. So when there's something that needs to come back, we put it in as kind of a placeholder in a future council agenda for that manager or department to work towards. Nothing, right now we have mine, anyway, I reviewed mine just yesterday, and I have some outstanding, but they're all related to land matters that council would be aware of and are just kind of in process. So I think nothing to flag, but council can trust we will continue to monitor and bring back things as they are required.
Okay. No, it's important. Council make the decisions, and we certainly want to make sure that they're implemented, and staff are on top of that now. Any further questions? I'll call the questions. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried unanimously. 81.4. Request province strong mayor's applicability. Legislative amendment. Amanda, go ahead. This is based on the new footprint of council going into the future.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Through you to council. As you recall, council previously voted to reduce its size from 8 members to 5 members coming up in the 2026 election, motivated in part by the desire to operate without strong mayor powers and to maintain that former kind of governance model. Southwest Middlesex is currently listed in Ontario Regulation 530-22 as a designated strong mayor municipality. The province tied that legislation to municipalities with more than 5 council members. So with us amending our size, it leaves a little bit of uncertainty as to whether that legislation will still apply to us following the next municipal election or not. The report before you recommends a dual approach, is that one, we reach out to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to seek formal clarification about whether strong mayor powers would continue to apply in Southwest Middlesex under a 5-member council following the next municipal election, and or request a legislative amendment removing Southwest Middlesex entirely from the strong mayor list. This action would ensure the municipality's governance structure aligns with council's intent for the council structure changes. So this is just requesting direction to send a letter to the province with a council resolution to get some clarification.
Just further to that too, regardless of what the answer is from the province of Ontario, I think I have stated on several occasions that I believe in democracy, and I believe in the engagement of all of council to make many of these decisions, and I have gone to great lengths explaining that to council in the past that though there may be occasions in the interest of critical interests of the municipality that I might consider strong mayor powers, on the norm it would not be considered. And I have been a proponent of having council engaged in these decisions, and regardless of what that answer is from the province, through the rest of my term, that personality will still be reflected, that I believe in everyone's opinion and majority rules. Any other questions? Seeing not, okay, Amanda, that you'll be authorized to send out that communication then and that request. Is there a mover and a seconder? Councillor Haggett, Deputy Mayor Scholdice. Last call for questions. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. 1.5 updated budget timelines, process and response to financial review findings. Denise, would you like to walk council through this? Oh, it's your report? Okay, no problem. Thanks. Amanda, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew, through you to council. So last one for me today. the As you recall, our Treasury Department, Denise, has previously presented some information to council on our 2024 financial statement review and recommended a number of amendments to our policies related to internal debt practices, cash management, et cetera, to be undertaken this year. And while those are in process, to ensure that the budget is based on an accurate financial framework, the meeting schedule for December, January has been updated to allow more time for council to consider adoption of a debt management policy, updated reserve schedules, and updated debt recommendations, as well as key policies. The revised budget calendar that's included in the report has been established to ensure that major financial policy decisions occur in December and early January, and the proposed budget is rescheduled to be proposed on January 21st. This still does meet all the legislative timelines that are required for the adoption of a budget, but it also provides council a little more breathing room to discuss some issues in advance of adoption of the 2026 budget. So you'll see the proposed schedule is included in the report for your consideration. And this is actually just a receive and file resolution, I think.
Okay. Council, any questions? Yes, Councillor Vink, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. When I read this report, I'm a little alarmed by one remark here that in August 2025, Council received the report. And then it says, since that time, Treasurer identified several significant issues. And I only found out about these issues last week, or maybe the week before. And as the Mayor just stated a few minutes ago, Council makes the decisions. Now, staff was aware of some of these issues, and we weren't informed. Since then, we've probably passed a new contract for the outside workers and inside workers for the rec department. We've hired a deputy clerk. So if there's any tax rates that have to be changed, well, we were only informed before the budget. We weren't informed when you first saw the significant issue. And this isn't right. We should have been notified as soon as there was some significant issues.
We've had some staff changes, and you have to give staff time to get their feet into the job and to do those assessments, and these were found, all right? We perhaps can discuss some of this in Committee of the Whole in camera, because we don't want to pin anything on a particular individual, okay? But the process for your questions, you will have the avenue to ask those questions and get an answer, but we want to make sure that we do it in an ethical manner.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. It's right in the report here about some significant issues.
Yep,
I believe I have the right to bring that up and
we can
ask why we weren't told about it before in the last week or so.
Amanda?
Thank you, Mayor. Through you to Councillor Vink. Great question. So as you know, and as was shared during the presentation of the 2024 financial statements, which occurred in, refresh my memory, October?
October.
When Denise joined the organization, she spent significant time working with the auditors to finalize the 2024 financial statements. They were finalized minutes before the council meeting they were presented at, just days before. Providing council information in advance of receiving completed financial audited statements would not have been possible. Council was informed at the earliest opportunity when they were presented, and then again, a special meeting was booked in order to ensure council understood the concerns that were raised through the financial statements. That said, we're always happy for feedback on anything that council doesn't feel was done appropriately, and I'm happy to have those conversations with yourself and council as a whole as well. But I would like to state that throughout this year, and with Denise joining our organization, staff have worked to become increasingly transparent and accountable to council, especially when it comes to our financial controls and policies. And we have identified a number of gaps, which council has just recently been made aware of. And that's important for council to know that we are working on correcting things.
Okay. Last call for questions. Regarding updated 2025 budget timelines and process in response to financial review findings, the recommendation is before you. Is there a mover and a seconder? Councillor Myers, seconder for that. Councillor Haggett. Any questions on the north side? Yes, Don, go ahead.
Yes, I won't be here on the 21st of
Okay.
January.
Alrighty, I hope you're going to be in Hawaii or someplace like that. But
Next thing to it.
okay, all right. Anyway, yes, Councillor Vink.
Thank you, Mayor. When I look at this list here, let's say, for instance, on December the 10th, I hope we're not making decisions till right at the end, because all these decisions will affect the tax rate. So I don't think we should finalize the reserves, and we shouldn't finalize anything till the last meeting to see how it affects the tax rate.
Well, that's an opinion expressed, and you'll have that opportunity to continue that dialogue at those meetings. But it's you certainly don't want to rush it, Martin. I agree with that. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments, inquiries? Seeing none, it's been moved and seconded. I'll call the question. All in favor of the report, updated budget timeline? Opposed? I think that carried unanimously. Colleen, you're up to bat now. Clerk report 8.2, review policies. Or is that you too? Okay, all right. No problem. Yeah, I'm delegating authority here when I shouldn't. So, Amanda, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor, to Council. Our clerk has prepared this report in preparation. It's a common practice to review policies prior to an election year. Kendra has reviewed our use of corporate resource policy as well as our sign bylaw policy in relation to the 2026 election. You will see in her report that she does propose some amendments to our use of corporate resources policy, primarily as they relate to all candidates' meetings and use of municipal facilities. It's just intended to provide some additional clarity for use of facilities and practices related to all candidates' meetings. That is the only change that is made in the use of corporate resources policy. She did also review our signage bylaw and election-related provisions, and no changes were recommended at this time.
Okay, any questions, Council? To Amanda, through the chair? Yes, Councillor McGill.
Well, I was reading this through, and I just thought of an example. I didn't have a problem with somebody doing this, but once, not this last election, but the one before that, there was a candidate rented one of our facilities and had a little open house there. Would that be permitted under this policy? As long as he paid full rent?
Great question. Through you, Mayor, to Councillor McGill. No.
Yes,
It's not being used for election-related purposes, so I would think that if it's our facility, then it wouldn't be allowed.
Yes. And yeah, that's true. Just because you didn't have your mic on, I'll reiterate that. Municipal facilities are not to be used for election-related purposes unless all candidates are permitted to attend, like an all-candidates meeting. So that means there are, like, a candidate could rent a private facility. It just means not a municipal facility for the appearance, the perception of municipal endorsement of that candidate, kind of deal.
Okay, that's the answer I thought you would give.
And sometimes they refer to that as a third party renting the facility for all of council, which the Lions Club do every year for a number of years. Okay, the recommendation is before you. Mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Myers, thank you. Anybody else? Oh, Marge? Good. Okay, thank you, Marjorie. I'm going to take that. We see Myers and Haggett's name on a lot of these motions. It's good to pass it around. Okay, last call for question. Seeing none, all in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Finance? None today, but your time will come, Denise. Public Works? Morrow, could you, is this under Morrow's or is this under our CAO?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to make that mistake like that.
No, this one's
10th
mine.
time. I kind of delegate authority here. Go ahead, Morrow. I know this is an interesting subject on recycling, and it goes back to the source of the problem, and it's probably good legislation, but I'll let you take it away.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Through the Mayor to Council, before is a report regarding recycling services for 2016. This report's a follow-up to the waste management presentation in August from Louisa, who is joining us today virtually. As of January 1st, 2026, producers become fully responsible for residential blue box recycling under the new extended producer responsibility framework. Industrial, commercial, and institutional properties are not included in the system. They're classified as non-eligible, meaning producers' responsibility organization will not provide industrial, commercial, institutional curbside collection. There's been ongoing discussion suggesting when I say industrial, commercial, institutional, I'm going to refer to them as IC&I collection. So there's been ongoing discussion suggesting that IC&I collections could be included in the producer-funded system if accounted for like 2% of the total system. Unfortunately, the Minister of Environment has since clarified that IC&I properties will not be included in this transition. Southwest Middlesex currently services approximately 119 IC&I locations for recycling. Beginning in 2016, these sites lose access to producer fund collection and will require municipal operated solutions to maintain. Continuing the municipal collection for IC&I properties will prevent service disruptions, support local businesses, and preserve established recycling and diversion practices. Staff's recommendation is to continue the IC&I recycling as a municipal funded service. The estimated cost is approximately $49,512 annually, which will be incorporated into the 2026 operating budget. Myself and Louisa are here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you, Morrow. Louisa, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate your virtual appearance, and thank you for the work you do. Would you like to add to the conversation?
Good day, Your Worship, and members of council and municipal staff. I really appreciate welcoming to the meeting today and would open up the opportunity to answer any questions. It is important that I think council look at continuing to offer some services to the IC&I kind of line of business, as we would say, because often, you know, that material may end up in the waste, and that's not something we would like to see. And do encourage support into those businesses. We do have to service the non-eligibles separately, so we are looking at changing a collection day so that we did a dry run. So basically how long it takes to come in and service all the non-eligibles and then go and dump and then come back to do the regular curbside eligible.
Thank you very much, Council. I'll be a bit selfish here and just maybe get the first question here. We're to both of you. We're concerned about our business streets in Melbourne and Wardsville and Glencoe, and those retail businesses and commercial businesses. They are non-eligibles, but they will not be forgotten. There will be some mechanics in place to look after them that we hope that will be developed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. As Louise has said, they'll have a separate day so that we have their materials not mixed in with the eligible materials.
And just to follow up to that, there's municipal garbage cans throughout the municipal districts and our main streets. The garbage cans, are they part of that program? Like, will they be picked up with regular garbage? I know they're numerous, and they do contain a significant amount of garbage. Most of them are full every weekend, and will they be looked after?
No, currently the system, our waste management system is for the wheelie bins. And I do believe that those garbage bins are looked after the Community Services Department.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. Council, questions? Deputy Mayor Schuldeis.
Mayor Mayhew, so are these dumpsters that you're considering?
No, we're considering having the same service that's provided today. So if they have a dumpster or they have a wheelie bin, then they'll be picked up on a separate day with a separate truck.
Yep, follow up, no
And
problem.
will these businesses receive a bill for that, or is it just coming out of the general levy?
We're proposing that it comes out of the operations budget.
This gets renewed in August of 27.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I guess the focus is we don't want to leave anyone behind. And it looks like staff and waste management have certainly has been in your discussions and in your proposals. We thank you for that. Yes, Councillor Vink.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Now, you mentioned more of an estimated cost, so how was that arrived at?
I'll refer that to Louisa. She provided the estimate for us.
Yeah, Louisa, could you handle that question on the configuration of costs, how it was arrived at?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. We took a look at how long it would take to service the current non-eligible properties and drive back to our yard to establish what a cost would be for the separate service. It is in line with some other municipal services that we've done because this issue with non-eligibles across the province. The lower cost is always the dumpster. So through discussions with Morrow as well, if there is an opportunity to convert to a shared dumpster, it's overall a lower cost. But for the purposes of this late amendment that came from the government, the continuation of cart collection is being recommended with a change into the future.
Alrighty, it's an important subject. We certainly hope it works out in our planning. Councillor McGill.
Through the mayor tomorrow, how do you deal with a situation where a person has got their business and where they live at the same location? Because you get a couple wheelie bins, nobody's looking to see whether it's business-related waste in there or household-related waste.
That's a very good question, and it's a conversation that Louisa and I have been having. But if it is a mixed residential and commercial, then it still classifies as a non-eligible.
Okay. Yes, Deputy Mayor Scholz, one more question there.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I just wondered, is there any other fees associated with this that we're not being told today, such as tipping fees or fuel surcharge or anything like that?
Yeah. No,
I'll refer that to Louisa. She did provide us with the cost estimate.
Louisa, I see you're shaking your head the right way there.
No, all of the processing costs and others, because it is looking at a one-year term, have all been included into the per unit cost that we provided.
Okay. All right, we're the recommendation is before you to amend the use of corporate resource policy to include provisions related to campaign. Oh, the wrong one. Sorry. Yeah, got Council directs staff to review and propose a change in scope to the curbside collection of solid waste and recyclables. The recommendation is before you, moved by Councilor Deputy Mayor Schultes.
Option 1.
Option 1. Okay. Is there a seconder for that? Councilor Emery. Discussion. Yes, go ahead, Councilor McGill.
Yeah, through the mayor tomorrow. Are you aware of what most other municipalities are doing? Because, you know, we should probably try to keep our services fairly similar to what other municipalities are doing.
Yes, through the mayor to Councillor McGill, this has been a very hot topic with other municipal groups. We were really hoping that that 2% rule would come into effect and the commercial businesses would be included in this program. But I can tell you that, yeah, a few of the other municipalities are going the same route that we're going. We don't want to not provide the service to the commercial businesses.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any more questions on that, Council? Okay, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. I like that word, unanimously. I use it quite a bit. It's good to have consensus. Community service and facilities. Kevin, it's good to have you here. Would you like to provide council with that report?
Sure. Through you, Mayor, before you is a report on the updated facility rentals and the usage. As per council direction, staff has done a breakdown of discounted free and full price rentals per facility. The total number of the rentals overall is different from the previous report. The previous report only went till October the 1st, and this report here is from January 1st all the way to December 31st of this year. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Council, any questions? Yes, Councilor Vink, please go ahead. Yep.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. To Kevin, I know if there's a bunch of discounted rentals, how is that calculated? Is there different discounts for different situations?
Good question through you, Mayor. There was in our bylaws and fees, there was a 75% discount and a 50% discount, and they are the same users. So when I did the math and did the rough calculation, I guesstimated on the 50%, I believe, is what we were doing. We did on the 50% instead of the 75. So that's how we came up with our numbers.
Okay. Any further questions? And the report is provided for information. Yes,
Thank
Deputy
you,
Mayor.
I just wondered, this kind of ties into our new council grant, not new, but council grant policy. And I just wondered if there was any updates on that to do with this, or is that a little too early?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. There is not an update at this time available. Thank you.
Okay. All right. The subject update on facility rentals. Council, you've received this for information purposes. Is there a mover and a seconder for this, please? Councillor Haggett, seconder. Councillor McGill. Questions? All in favor? All opposed? Carried. Okay. We have no report from fire, no report for building, planning on at this time. The chair has not been advised of any notices of motion. Correspondence and petitions, we have received one there, and the recommendation there to receive the petition that has been delivered at the November 19th public meeting on the development of South Street. For the record, Council, we want to make sure that there has been confirmation that the petition has been received. Is there a mover and a seconder for that? Councillor Emery, seconder. Councillor Vink. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Unfinished business, I don't believe there's any. Amanda? No new business, we're okay there. County council and conference updates, we passed that. And, in the correspondence, in the consent agenda, we had some announcements. Any announcements, council? Seeing none, we'll pass that. Closed session, pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2021. That the regular meeting of council of Southwest Middlesex be temporarily adjourned at 3:06 p.m. Yep, 3:06 p.m. To hold a meeting of closed pursuant to section 22392 of the Municipal Act 2001. Mr. Mooner, seconder. McCollum, Emery. All in favor? Carried. We'll just give staff a